for the Triforce, you've got a little bit of flexibility in her build. And I imagine with the tanky matchup that we're seeing against this Malphite here, probably going to be going for that Divine Sunder.
Yeah, you can go for the Triforce as well anyway, just because Camille does offer the true damage regardless. I will say, this is one of the worst matchups for Malphite. Malphite doesn't have that many bad matchups right now. He's incredibly strong, but Camille can certainly deal with it.
There's a lot here for Chuyu to work with, and this is the game now where on this Taliyah, he can showcase just what he's capable of.
Well, we'll have to see. Looks like we are headed on into game, though. I'm excited for this one, Dagda. I'm getting real giddy for this one. HMG are feeling it because they're going for the 5-man stack towards the top side here. And New is going to be the one to discover this. Mid, sorry, not the finding. He's going to find the target as well. Maybe New's double the nothing through. No, right. He's taken down and first puts a lot.
That is beautiful. I love the way that you've got the Arcane Comet there for Miz as well, so you basically get an indicator of hit, let's go, let's go. You can see everyone leveling those CCs, get the Camille following in. Kill goes to the mid laner Lai as well. And this is going to be fantastic. Early longsword into this matchup. You're just looking to try and get that early Dirk, and suddenly this matchup changes. So I'm excited to see now what this Kiana can do, given that little bit of extra boost.
Yeah, look, we were saying, this is HMG coming from the Collegiate League. They're coming in with very little expectation. They've already lost 2 games so far in the tournament. So they're coming in as a huge underdog. Finding an early kill like that is, first of all, going to boost morale. And what I like to say, Diana's going to come in a little bit later, and she's got some lethality. The other side of that. Extra bit of gold and bit of damage in the lane is going to work wonders for Lai. So HMG, I'm super happy that they're being proactive and they're coming in and saying, hey, look, we cannot be ignored. We cannot be forgotten.
And one of the big things about these assassins is that they're so reliant on like their roaming potential, like how quickly they can get out of lane. If you start to build up this early AD, it makes it so much easier to start like killing the caster creeps, getting yourself out of the lane, and that's really what Lai is trying to do. So having that opportunity now is going to be great, but Jolly's not looking so hot right now in this bottom lane after taking a really bad trade as Miz had to back.
Yeah, Miz got off that lane. I didn't actually see what happened, but
yeah.
When you're supporting, maybe don't 2v1. If you guys are looking for some solo queue advice, don't 2v1.
Yeah. Against an Alistar as well. Like, Alistar is essentially a melee creep until level 2. Like, I play a lot of Alistar, and it just sucks level 1, where you're just getting auto-attacked. You're like, I got my W, I can push you away, or I got Q.
Rooming God is enough, so very nice and done. And he's here. You down. Not again. All over the wall. What the heck? Can't get range. Extra out onto the line. Rooming in the end. It's going to be what for 1? For 1 to 0. At least we've got the well. This is going down the second time this game.
That was unbelievably well played by OMG. In particular, looking at Cole and Eric, this is how you can use those early game advantages to snowball out of control. They come back off of getting the push down on bot side. They go, right, do you know what? We've got a bit of an opportunity to move up. They read that gank is going to go towards mid, and they just set it up beautifully to get these kills. And, I mean, look, we're going to get a replay of this level 1, but honestly, this has just been beautiful from the get-go. I don't know, just being able to pick up so many of these kills early is going to be absolutely fantastic for OMG. So, I think we've lost Munch for a second. So I'm going to be solo casting for a little bit. But so essentially what we're looking at here for OMG is that they've got some of these nice early game kills. They're getting some bit of goal back in towards the Orianna, but 2 kills towards this Kai'Sa is going to be fantastic. Eric is definitely going to be leaned on to a certain extent in these later game fights, where his damage is going to be so impactful in trying to kill a lot of these guys like Lane, trying to get on towards the likes of Chia and Holly, and especially when Kai'Sa not having that many tanks here, I wouldn't be surprised to see her go for something like the Kraken Slayer, just try and optimize that burst. You can fling in towards the back line, get on towards the likes of the Taliyah, maybe even get on towards this Ezreal, and just look to burst out this back line alongside all that follow-up CC that we're looking at from the team. Again, though, a lot of pressure here from HMG. Chuyu will not be able to get anyone, and now he's found himself up a creek without a paddle, and it will be another kill going the way of OMG.
You know, I was so hyped for Chuyu. into the 2v1 to die immediately. Maybe not the way we were looking for. Maybe not the way to go forward.
No, that's not the way that you really want to look at things, but you can see the aggression that Chuyu's trying to go for here. He's trying to use that advantage that they picked up early, but unfortunately, I mean, Wumi's been doing just an amazing job of being able to sidestep so much of this pressure, hasn't really been able to set up properly with Lai, and it's costing him.
He's having a miserable time. He needs to just respect the fact that Cold is going to go in. Chuyu is now here to try and answer Eric can box his skill shot. Whether or not Chuyu to be able to find the knock is a different question. They're going to look for it. They don't have a mini look. That knock a bit. I don't but hey, they get a kill on Cold. We take those. Fly now. We try and get out of this one. Hop over the wall. And they get away with it.
Yeah, I gotta say that one was a little bit fishy, but they do manage to get the kill at least for HMG. The bigger issue though is like if you start to look at just the gold lead, when you start to look at how much pressure OMG's gotten, like they're still very firmly in control. You need to try and wrestle a little bit more. You've got a 3-0 Kaisa already in this game. Like that's a major issue for HMG's side, especially because they do have Lai who can try and get on towards the Kaisa, but if you're not able to, it's going to be kind of difficult to really pick her off when you've got so many tanks that are going to be in the way. A lot of CC that should be able to try and keep Lane, the likes of Lai, even out of these fights. Okay, well, you've just missed Cold being able to pick up the kill onto Miz. Just gives him the slap of the hand across the face. Eric and Cold are running away with this bot lane. I know you already pointed it out, Munch, that at least to begin things, Jolly and Miz have not been having the best of times. And I thought with a matchup like this, where you've got like very safe Ezreal, you have Miz who's on this look, should be able to play reasonably far back. That shouldn't have been an issue. But for whatever reason, they just haven't really been able to find the synergy, staying out of range of OMG, and this bot lane is already starting to go away with it. Now Aki just playing off that bot lane pressure, picking up this dragon for themselves as well. I mean, yeah, sure you get the red buff, but honestly, it's a consolation prize at this stage.
On New as well in the river. New's winning out the trade, and the thing about Malphite is, even when you're building your tank, if it's a burst trade, Malphite can still win this so heavily. With the Comet, with the Sword, you actually do quite a lot of damage in the first, and then you use that movement speed to just zip away. You finding that out for himself.
Yeah. Oh, Cole is eyeing up Miz here. This is like something I've actually come to appreciate a lot about Cole, is his ability to, at least in this game, to find those roam opportunities. But
that was booming. The fancy footwork for Wooming. I don't know how that knockup doesn't hit Wooming, and the one earlier hits Cold, but you know what? We just go with those kind of things here, because Wooming, I appreciate the bug.
Wooming's been absolutely amazing in this game. Like, as he said, the fancy footwork has been great, but especially when you're an Orianna into this matchup, you can see just how much pressure they put in towards this mid lane to try and shut him down. He's been able to hold on to his flash in so many of these situations, which has been keeping him safe, and... Oh! God damn it.
No fancy footwork can save you now, my friend. It's what's one though, because Miz is continuing to absolutely sprint it.
I love the way, even with the kill going over the mid lane, you just see the Ezreal just in case, but there we go.
Oh no, this is not right now. It's going to be all out of lasting. Down. Eric with yet another kill. 5-0-0 on the play.
This bot lane is styling. That was so well played from Cole. So using the headbutt to bait out that arcane shift, and then as soon as Holly thinks he's safe, flashes in to get the get the pulverized. You set up for Eric. Like, this has just been beautiful from the OMG bot lane.
Oh, lane completed in by new hit. You actually think ramble there. Actually gonna walk away empty-handed.
Yeah, trying to see if they could abuse the fact that the Hextech Ultimatum was down, but not going to be able to get that set up. However, you're still seeing that OMG, you've got this bot lane that's winning out for themselves. All right, cool. Let's just move our pressure from Aki up towards the top side, and let's see if we can try and get something going for New here as well. Just shut down HMG across the board. Did pick up that Rift Herald for Aki. I'd imagine that he's going to try and place this down in that mid lane, because against the likes of these assassins, if you can get this mid lane tower down, shove them back, start to prevent drones from happening, things become a lot easier for OMG.
Open OMG can snowball rolling, because honestly, the game against Rogue Warriors earlier on, it gave me a lot of worries. OMG, they had a tremendous lead for themselves, and it all developed. I'm really hoping that they can maintain this lead and not go up to Miz, I don't even
Look, all right, let's be realistic, all right? These guys, they go to, I think it's Jiangxi University. Oh, hang on. They're going for the dive. Charlie is, yeah, he's gone. He's gone as well. All right, look, these guys go to university. They don't play full-time. They're not pros that are playing at the LPL. Like, these guys are doing incredibly well in the grand scheme of things in college. Like, 2 world championships, 4 national championships. Like, they're creme de la creme of college, but there's a little bit of a difference between college and the LPL. Now we got New in a lot of trouble here. Chuyu will not get him. Will manage to pick up there for Lyde, though, flashing underneath the turret to secure that one. It looked a little bit dicey there, but you can definitely see where HMG are trying to put the eggs in the Lyde basket. I have to see if it'll pay off for them in the long run, but bot side is going disastrously. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, but Cold not able to get the pulverize. Forced to pop the unbreakable will to keep himself alive is in the mid lane. Will mean the bullying of this Orianna will continue.
Apparently, I'm having a quick mic. Just trying to
no,
get
it's
resolved.
fine. Look, I don't. Honestly, I didn't want to cast with you anyway, so I'm fine to just solo cast.
So you just take it away, mate.
All right, perfect. Look, this is the Dagta podcast here, where we're just gonna take it away for a little while, but. We got this next dragon that's coming up in just a few moments. This should more than likely be going towards OMG. You've got that bot lane turret down. A lot of these turret plates falling as well. Like, Lane is trying to, well, get out of his lane and help out in this mid lane, but honestly, I'd prefer to just see a lot more investment in towards the Camille. I think at this stage, you've already got 3-1 on this Kiana with the Prowler Claw, but oh, Cold will just get caught out there. Aki now coming off to the side to see if he can deal a little bit of damage. New has cut off the reinforcements though, and now you've got this massive ultimate from the Kiana. Will manage to take down the Kaisa in the meantime, but Chuyu will escape with his life. Either way though, still an OMG win. Now they've got this dragon that's coming up for themselves as well. Aki going to be able to secure that one. Bot lane going to be picked up by Woomin as well. And overall, this is where you're seeing HMG just throwing everything at OMG in desperation, but not quite able to get the results that they want. Going back to the point that I was making, though. Oh, are you back, Joe?
Well, I don't know if I'm back, to be honest, mate. I think I'm just a bit muffled or something. We're just going to have to roll with it, and we'll be able to fix it after this game. Because I'm not sure how much longer this game will go on with how OMG are kicking things off. They're 2 dragons up already. 13 minutes on the clock as they've got 14 kills for themselves. And it's feeling like, especially with a Malphite and a Kai'Sa with 7 kills, it's not like they don't have ways to force this advantage for themselves.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, I was looking at, okay, you've got a bot lane that can do reasonably fine for itself. You're looking towards this top lane as well. A good matchup for lane. Even the mid lane, we saw a lot of that mid jungle 2v2 working well for them. But the big issue was that they weren't really able to snowball off of those lane advantages. OMG, with some of those early plays, have done an amazing job of getting this lead. And now this is the easy part. All you have to do is start to look towards these objectives, especially with 2 dragons. They can start to look towards an Infernal Dragon Soul. Barons are going to be up soon. Even a second Rift Tower will spawn in about 3 minutes. Like, they've got so many ways they can force this.
And, you know, you might be on the Camille lane, but no one could survive the 3-man gank when Cole's on his Alistair. He just lands absolutely everything. There's no counterplay available. And that means now Woomin gets a bit of free time to take away some of these tower plates, because plates are still going to be up for 1 more second. Oh, he's 1 millimeter away from taking it. But at the end of the day, he'll still get the tower. In the meantime, the rest of his team is pushing in the mid lane. This entire map belongs to OMG.
Yeah, 100%. I think looking back at lane though, I still think I would have preferred to see him go for the Divine Sunder build here. Divine Sunder works super well against these tanks. You get both uses out of the passive because you actually get magic damage off your ultimate, so you can still use a lot of this Divine Sunder, the abilities that are on it, or the passives that are on it. And the bigger thing as well is that at least if you go for something like the Divine Sunder into a starts gauge, you'll still be able to 1v1 against the Malphite, still have a lot of that threat in the side lane. lane, but it just gives you an opportunity here where if you do fall behind like they have right now, to be that front line in these team fights, to be a big engage tool. You are surprisingly tanky just off of those two items, the Divine Sunder and the Stairs Cage.
And I want to go back to something we said right at the very start when we were just after Champ Select. Chuyu is the guy that got MVP for this team when they were winning championships in the collegiate leagues. Look at his item build right now. He's gone for the Medjais. He's 3-1-5. Everything is on his shoulders at this point. He's got to be the carry for his team. Lane trying to make something happen in the top side as well as he goes on to Wooming, but the rest of Wooming's squad is on the way here. Aki comes up from the side. Hextech Ultimatum does a bit, nearly takes down Wooming, but still falls to the 1v3.
Yeah, I mean, there's not very much that you could do in that situation. Going back to your point on the Magi Soul Stealer, though, like the reason that we're seeing so much prevalence of like the likes of the Darksteel into Magi's is Darksteel, like just off the get-go, is already super gold efficient. It's 109% gold efficiency, and then when you upgrade to that early Magi's, it means you get a legendary item, which then procs in this case because the Luden's Tempest that early ability haste. So you've got a lot to, the early Magic Pen. So it just gives you that early legendary item that you can work so well into getting some of these early mythic passives up and running.
Yeah, it definitely feels good to get the early mythic passives going, but also, especially when your scoreline is looking like Chuyu's is, and bear in mind, he just got another kill there onto Nu while the 3-man gank was happening onto lane. Nu also died in the river. So we've got 4 more stacks there. He's getting close to the point where this Medjais is going to start to take over the game, and I mean, when your Malphite dies that quick, there are issues.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's built mostly the armor coming in with the Bramble Vest there. It does have some magic resist coming in from the Sunfire Aegis. But I think the bigger thing here is, ooh, that was so close. Yeah. But this is where if you're, getting caught out as new, if you're throwing away these ultimates like this, especially 50 seconds before Dragon, maybe you have an opportunity for HMG to use this Talia to pick members off.
Lane is not having a fun time. He has to flash now in the bottom side as Cold was looking for the Hex flash over the wall as well. This is just like the destroy lane squad. It's Cold, Wooming, and Aki. And just group it up. Wherever lane goes, they go as a 3.
And it's great to see. I mean, a lot of the times we're looking at this like support jungle synergy and how well it's working. Well, I mean, we're getting a masterclass here from Cold and Aki. They've taken complete control of this bot side. They're working super well as this gank squad as you're talking about. But Eric gets cut out.
Oh, that's going to be a kill coming their way as well. Miz, though, unfortunately, has reset his gold value, which is really bad news for HMG because this guy's a specialist.
He's out of lane now. He's going to be fine, all right? He'll be totally okay. What I do need to see them do, though, is actually move away from this mid lane. Like, you are getting pressure with this Rift Herald, but their focus should be the Dragon here, stopping OMG from getting towards that soul point. OMG, as you can see, are perfectly happy to just sacrifice this mid lane turret, but might have got themselves caught.
Uh-oh, Supreme Display of Talent. Wooming has to go golden immediately. This could be a good fight for HMG as they pick up 2. Chuyu now on 24 stacks, by the way. A Dragon on top of it. Suddenly, HMG are in the game.
That is absolutely insane. HMG have managed to turn this one around. I mean, you talked about a bunch. OMG tossing away their leads in some of their games. Well, we might be seeing it again because this is not the way it's going. Eric picked off in the mid lane. You've got the Rift Herald that picked up as well by HMG. OMG just haven't quite been able to snowball their lead past, hey, maybe we get a pick off in these side lanes, but it hasn't led to a huge amount.
And honestly, I'm starting to believe in the 0-8 power spike. That was all that was happening down at the bottom lane. Miz now, he's landing his bindings. He's not having any issues with hitting the skill shots, that's for sure. He's just maybe a little disrespectful of what Alistair can do in the laning phase. But as you rightly say, now that they're out of the laning phase, he's doing all right. So maybe I was a little too quick to judge.
He does have that Imperial Mandate, which is helping massively as well. Such a strong item at the moment. And when you've got Lux, who's got so many different ways of setting up for her team with that, it just becomes a nice little buff to that Lux. Still waiting on, honestly, Cole to finish his first item. Looks like he's going for the Chem Tank. I'll keep on to say Chem Punk, but that's the other one. It's Chem Tank. So then he's Cyberpunk, yeah. He's gone for the 2077 build, where he just wants to run it at people. The biggest thing here is he's just looking to be that secondary engage tool here, so that then if Nu is off in a side lane trying to deal with lane, you've still got a way for Cole to set up these engages by just speeding himself up, jumping onto the likes of Miz, Chuyu, wherever possible.
So let's have a bit of a recap of where we're at in the game right now, because it started off... Oh, hang on. Cold's gone in. They were going for Jolly right here. Flashes underneath the tower, but he's stunned and taken down. Miz is going to fall as well. And you know what? Alistair's quite happy to just sit under that tower for a longer while. News come in. Alistair 2.0 underneath the tower now. Cold's got his combo back. There is nothing HMG can do about it. They're just absolutely bodied under the tower.
Yeah, OMG have just realized, actually, if we group, we can do a lot more, because that's exactly what their team wants to do. Now they're going to turn over towards this Baron, and with only 2 members available for HMG, it'll be a miracle play if they hope to keep this. Eric as well, Kraken Slayer, and also having that passive is going to rip through Baron.
They are in a Baron pit, and this is a Kiana, so maybe something miraculous can happen, but I don't know, it's not looking good. Good stun across the team. They get 1 kill, but it's in trade for a Baron, and it looks like with the W coming out from Wooming, everybody speeds away. Lane considering the option of going 1v4. I don't think that's the play.
No, I don't think you really want to go that far, but look, overall, it's OMG figuring out their game plan, how they're going to make this work, managing to get the kills, they turn that in towards Baron, and now it becomes very difficult for you as HMG to try and siege up and try and deal with the siege that's going to be coming in from OMG. You've only got really Lux, who's going to be able to act as a wave clear, Talia to a certain extent as well, but this is just fantastic play from Cold. He's looked so confident on this Alistair, understanding exactly how to play into this Ezreal matchup, and there's just been nothing that Jolly can do. Cold just has his number every single time.
I just love that bait and switch from New as well. Like, they clearly were not expecting New from the bottom side. Everyone retreats, and then New goes in to tag the tower. It's just beautiful to see New and Cold working together so well.
Yeah, and now we're looking at OMG that have really powered up. So the big thing before that fight was that Woomin hadn't actually completed his mythic item. He had gone for the full Zhonya's, which I think was a bit overkill, but now has actually finished that Luden's Tempest. So he's going to be hitting a pretty big spike now off of those 2 items. So that Shockwave will be hurting substantially more than it was before this.
Jolly gets away, root onto Cold. He's going to go in with Eric here. And well, the damage is certainly there. Chuyu is going to lose his stacks, and it's now down to 4. That is a very sad sight for any HMG fans at home. Lane going to use the Hextech ultimatum, but it's not enough to keep himself alive, and then with a Shockwave as well. I was about to bring up a storyline of, hey, this is what they would look like against Rogue Warriors. OMG maybe not that great in the mid-game, but I don't think that's happening. Not even OMG's macro can lose them this one.
Yeah, well, look, I think from OMG's perspective, you got a lot of new players on this roster, right? I mean, New did play on RNG for a little bit of time, but he's obviously new to the LPL. You got Aki, who's just coming up from the LDL. Woomin only came across. Eric new last year, or well, this year, I suppose 2020 as well. Cole is the mainstay of this roster. He's been on OMG for 5 years now, and that's who you got to be looking for to be the kind of the shot caller and the guy who's really going to stand up and be accounted for. And honestly, he's been the MVP for me in this game. Cole has looked absolutely stellar on this Alistair. Turn around those super early plays. He's been the main engage tool and calling the shots here for OMG. Code is looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, look at his kill participation. 18 out of the 22 kills he's been involved in, which as an Alistair, it's not like he's just thrown out a shield. He's gone in face first on those 18 kills. So huge respect from him. Also, I want to give some props here to Eric because I've ragged on Eric a little in the past. It's fair to say, especially on my NEST streams. So I appreciate that Eric is doing well, and maybe I've been a little harsh on him in the past.
Yeah, look, I think Eric has deserved it in the past, though. Like, Eric has not been the strongest of AD carries. Even when he came into the league, I think I had him ranked, like, maybe second last or something along those. Like, I really didn't have high hopes for this guy. So I think if we have Code who's playing this spectacularly, it's going to make things a lot easier for Eric, and being able to follow up off of the strong voice that Code is trying to bring to OMG is going to make it a little bit easier for him.
Yeah, it's really good to see him thriving a little bit. Obviously, he had a couple of rougher games earlier, but Lane, unfortunately, my friend, you missed the memo where you are never alone in this lane. There are always at least 3 members of OMG to match you. He's taken out again, and he just doesn't get to play League anymore. He's been denied entry to this game.
Yeah, and look, I mean, he's 1-6. your maybe saving grace here for HMG was that you could try and play through a side lane, have lane split push, and then have Chuyu using this Talia's Weaver's Wall to try and help out, force these 2v1 situations in side lanes. But they have no control of the map. There's just no hope for them to try and take any of these side lanes. And when you look at team fights, that's where OMG's composition thrives. So it's not looking good for HMG right now.
Yeah, and I want to point out Eric's build as well, because some people at home maybe haven't seen Kai'Sa in a little while, are wondering where the AP is. This is a fairly standard Kai'Sa build at this point, where you go Infinity Edge third, and you kind of just opt out of the W upgrade. You just max out your Q, you max out your E, and then you just go for pure crit damage and pure, just massive AD burst, essentially, and you get to just one-shot people. With the Hail of Blades there, that on top of your passive, you just annihilate health bars.
Yeah, and don't forget as well, because the changes that came through a little while ago to Infinity Edge, like, you're getting that extra burst damage at the 60%, so he's doing a lot of damage right now, just, well, obviously because he's 10 and 2, you know, that helps a little, but certainly the build itself has really come into its own now at this stage as well.
And it's really great as a snowball build as well. If you do manage to get the lead early, it's certainly a great way to maintain that lead for yourself. So across the board here, this is starting to look kind of like a closed out game in favor of OMG, just because that one shining light that existed before in Chuyu for HMG has not really, you know, with all of the Magi stacks being gone now, obviously he does have his Zhonya's, he's going to continue to get more items, but it doesn't feel as realistic of a win condition anymore. And with Cold just making these plays onto Miz time and time again, I don't know if there's anything left in the tank here. Jolly now going to get ulted from the other side. New just permanently behind enemy lines, apparently. 2 more kills, and that should be Baron.
Yeah, they're going to be able to turn towards this. There's just nothing you can do here as HMG. OMG have done a great job of securing vision in a lot of situations. The confidence from Code as well to know, look, I've got the Unbreakable. I've also gone for this tank build. It means it's super difficult to kill the cow. However, Chuyu trying to move in here, but has only kind of cut himself off.
Yeah, Chuyu might just die here because Eric is large, but he's going to be taken down. That is a double assassin comp right here. Lion Chuyu against the world right now, but I don't think they have the damage, really. Shockwave to finish him off. Woman got incredibly low. Lai doesn't have a ton of mana, but if Cold's not careful, it could get one shot here. Lai's certainly the biggest player on HMG remaining, essentially.
Yeah, but the biggest issue here is that you need to try and work the combo here if you're going to have any hope of these team fights.
Oh no, he wants to get the cheeky recall. Wooming wasn't even looking for him. Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, he tried, like, if you'd just hit him in the wolf pit, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But tries to go the extra distance, manages to get caught out by Woomy. That Baron recall ruining the entire plan there.
Woomy
but either way, look.
He just wanted mana. He didn't even want the kill.
Hey, look, sometimes you get, it's like the cherry on top, right? You get the mana, you get a little bit extra. It's all working out.
Who says you can't have your cake and eat it, eh? Wooming has it. Oh,
actually,
dear.
well, I want to take my analogy a step down here, because we've got this Infernal Soul that's about to spawn in 10 seconds as well. Lai isn't even going to be up in time. Like, I think that's really going to be the cherry, or the sprinkles, I suppose, maybe in this analogy for OMG. And from this point forward, like, we're definitely starting to see OMG's shot calling kind of hurt them a little bit here, because honestly, from the position that they have been in, they should have been able to close out this game, using the likes of these objectives to force fights, then push these waves incredibly fast. But their side lane control hasn't been that great here, and it's making it a little bit difficult to try and force the pressure onto HMG. But at least with this Infernal Soul, they're slowly but surely getting their jaws around HMG.
Yeah, this is going to be the mid lane. Inhib tower broken. Wooming, how did that shockwave hit? Nicely done there. Well played by Wooming. In with the knockups galore across the team. This is how you absolutely maul an enemy. The tower will fall, and that is surely game actor.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a hope here. HMG, I mean, welcome to the big leagues, and unfortunately, it's a little bit of a rude awakening here, as OMG will close out this game.
Yeah, beautifully done here by OMG. I was a little worried about their mid game and their late game, but clearly have tidied things up a little bit. The scoreboard is just bounties galore. And Cold, 2, 3, and 24 at the end of that one. If Cold isn't the MVP, I'm going to be heartbroken on his behalf, because that was a magnanimous performance on the Alistar.
It was beautiful. Like, even I don't understand how they managed to get that play at level, to put it mildly.
It all fallen apart, this seems.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're going to shout out Wooming and we're going to shout out Cole, we have to shout out Aki as well, because the 3-man death squad that was just a heat-seeking missile locked onto Lane in the top side. Lane on this Camille, this was the blind pick Camille into a Malphite, which is a relatively decent matchup for the Camille as well, but they just